Hello, I'm Joe Lewis. We're here in Tampa, Florida, one of my official Joe Lewis training centers. This time we're going to be working on a strategy dealing with how to spar or how to fight the taller opponent. We all know the taller opponent's got to be probably the most aggravating one to deal with. We know that the stronger opponent is probably the most feared, but the faster one's probably the most difficult to deal with. But the most confusing, the one that gives you the most struggle, the most agony, is the tall opponent. What we're going to be doing is I want you to first realize how to understand what is your position if you're up against a taller opponent. What would be your territory? What would be his territory? Let me give you this as an example. One of my black belts, Mark Graydon, come on out here. Mark, by the way, is a super heavyweight world WACO contact champion. And we're here at Eddie Dominguez's school. Eddie's another one of our black belts. Come on out here. Against a tall opponent. Watch this, for example. Just square off against me for a second, Mark. Mark's about, what, 6'5", so of course Mark would be what I'd call a tall opponent. Primarily two things you want to think about against a tall opponent. Number one, out here on the outside is where he's going to have the advantage. This is his territory. So in his territory, make sure you keep moving, not to and from the target. All right? Because as long as your head's lined up directly between his shoulders, this is where you don't want to be. When you're in front of him, you better be moving. And if your position is not moving, which I'm going to be showing you on this particular series, make sure your head and your body have some type of rhythm. Rhythm is the correct term for what we call moving. When you fight Mark, you don't fight him out here. You stay on the inside. This is called your pocket. So you do your work from your pocket, not from here. When here, you think about defense. Move. Move your head, move your position. The first drill I want you two guys to do the work on this movement is, watch this for a second, square up against me, Mark. With your students, a new student, start off with a lead leg side kick. When a person's firing a side kick, watch this for a second. Mark, just lift your leg up here, let me hold it. Look at that, world champion, hold his leg up there. Now, when a person throws a kick at you, I teach in my system basically there's 6 kicks. You got low kicks, high kicks, lead leg kicks, rear leg kicks, kicks that come on a straight line, those that come on a curved line. I know people say there's 150-some kicks, but I only know of 6. Don't get caught between the foot, which is where my right hand is, and the knee. See, this is a trap. Stay out of that trap. When he kicks, every time he kicks, you want to stay outside of the foot or inside the knee. So watch, position against me. Once you do this drill with your students, start off about half speed. He's going to do a lead leg kick. To have good, correct movement, you need to work on footwork. This is called your vertical footwork. Now, when he steps in to throw a lead leg side kick at you, keep the kick between the hips and the shoulders so you don't make contact or get hurt. Watch my defensive footwork. All right, go back a second for a second. When he starts to move, watch my rear foot. Step 1, I move the rear foot back. That's my initial step. If I move the front foot first, notice the foot moves, but my body's not. I want the target moving. So when you move the rear foot, watch. If I take my pants and pull, see the whole target is moving. That's why I move the rear foot first. Whichever direction I'm moving in, and in any second we're going to be working on some what we call lateral footwork. Always move the foot pointing the direction that you want to go. Move that foot first. So if I'm going backwards, rear foot goes forward. Goes first. If I'm going forward, front foot goes first. If I'm going to my right leg goes first. I'm going to my left leg first. Keep that rule in mind when you do any type of movement. Now watch me again. Step 1, rear foot, step. As he's starting to make his penetration, my front foot slides straight back to my rear foot, and then there's a replacement step. Watch it again. Let me count. 1, front foot comes 2, 3. Watch it again. 1, 2, 3. So there's an initial step, then a little replacement step. Try not to go up and down kind of in an undulating type motion when you're doing this. When he comes at me with his lead leg side kick, I'm just going to slide back, and if the kick gets a little too close, I'm going to slap it down, reposition it against me. Then I'm going to come back at him. Take the initial step. Now, instead of doing a step behind side kick, it's just the way I learned in Okinawa, I'd like you to bring your rear foot, bring the heel to that heel. That way I could come in with a side kick, round kick, or hook kick without rotating my hip. If I step behind, it's hard for me to throw a round kick. If I step in front, it's hard for me to throw a hook kick. All right. All right, position. All right, now what? As I come at you, you're going to take the rear foot back, side kick. Reposition, pause, freeze frame. Then he comes back at me. Boom. If the kick gets a little too close, Eddie, all I want you to do is this. Watch my hands. Let your hands come down in kind of a butterfly posture like so. And just kind of let them float down and just kind of slap the kick down. Okay? And as he's kicking, try to get as close to the kick as possible where you can almost kiss it. If you go too far away, you can't counter. If you're too close, you're going to get hit. All right, now let's try this drill. Position 2 against each other. All right, go first. Freeze frame. All right, reposition everybody. Now he's coming back at you now. Go. Go. Back. Get a little closer before you make the trigger squeeze here, Eddie. See, you're out of range. There's no way you're going to hit a tall guy from here. You want to try to creep up. Get as close as you can, I like to be lean and touch the guy's chest before I fire a kick. That way I know I can nail him. Now, of course, Mark's not dumb. He can tell you're choking up on him. Because as soon as you start to choke up, he's going to pop you that long reach, or he's going to take a little step back to throw your reach off. When he throws your reach off, there goes your timing. Right? So you're playing a timing game against him. He's playing a distancing game against you. Okay? All right, come back here and reposition. Now, that's sort of a first step drill. I used to do that drill every time I went to a tournament to work on my explosives. I always go find the fastest guy on the floor and square him up against me. We'd fire kicks back and forth against each other. I work primarily on my penetration quickness and my penetration speed. If I could get off the line first, if I could get off the line the quickest, I had a chance of bridging that gap. And I've always said, bridging the gap between you and your opponent is probably one of the hardest things in the world to do to the fight game without getting hit or without missing. Okay? Now, position against me over here. Now, this time, we're going to work on what we call lateral motion. Now, in the ring, you don't, or in any kind of sport, sparring, you don't really move laterally. If I move laterally, like in this direction, I'm moving away from him where I can't hit him. So you're actually circling your opponent. You're moving counterclockwise, or I'm moving clockwise. We call it arcing. All right? Now, keep this in mind. When you're fighting a taller opponent, do not stand stationary directly in front of him. That is a major, major no-no. What you're doing now by doing so is you're accommodating his reach. Never give your opponent what he wants. He wants you to stand in front of him. He wants you to remain stationary. And he prefers you that you actually keep your hands down and maybe even put on a blindfold. But now, what I want you guys to do is, come here a second, Eddie. Mark, let's turn around, face the camera. Turn around, face the camera. All right, back it up just a little bit. Back it up, back it up. Work on some lateral motion. It's kind of hard to learn footwork. It's kind of easy to learn how to penetrate, go in, and disengage, pulling out. But learn to go sideways, it's a little difficult. What I try to do is take a little exercise like so. Watch my footwork first. I'm going to step to my right. 1, 2 steps. Do it with me. Then back to where I started. 3, 4. Got it? All right, let's try it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. See what I'm doing? And then go back the opposite direction. 1, 2 this direction. Back this direction. 2, 4. Now, this is what I want you to ultimately end up doing. Just watch what I'm doing. We're going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What I'm doing in slow motion is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I reverse it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And eventually from that little drill, I can learn the fire techniques. Okay, so every time I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, fire, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, fire, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, now something get complicated. Let's just do the drill, nice and easy. To the right, 1, 2. Left, 3, 4. Back to right, 4 steps. 5, 6, 7, 8. Pause. Now do the same routine going back the opposite direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. See what we're doing? Now, pause here for a second, Mark. Let me work with Eddie, because Eddie's going to try that Drill, face me. I'm the taller opponent. I'm trying to line you up so you stand straight in front of me. All right, I kind of like where you are. You're out there on the outside. All right, where I know you can't beat me. You want to fight me here, but I'm not going to let you get on the inside. As soon as I see you starting to come to the inside, I'm going to beat you to the draw. I'm just going to take a little half step back. This is what tall people do. Watch some of the old fights when Lennox Lewis fought Mike Tyson or when Buster Douglas fought Mike Tyson. As soon as Tyson started to take that step forward, they just took a step back. That throws his range off. When I throw your range off, what happens to your timing? Your timing collapses. This is called a back step, see? Or you say drop back. Sometimes the tall guy will take a little drop step back, roll, then come right back with a little counter punch or a counter kick. So, tall people against little people or shorter people work what we call entrapment. They try to draw you in. That's why in a real fight, you rarely see the taller opponent going to the little person. It's always the short opponent who's trying to get to the taller person. Because see, the tall guy, I can hit you from out here. But you can't hit me, the taller person, from here. You got to come to me. And that's what they're doing. They're trying to draw you into a trap. What we want to try to show you how to reverse that process and draw the taller person into your territory. Remember, on the outside, that's his territory. In the pocket, that's your territory. Now, watch this little drill. What I want you to do is we're going to do it real slow motion here first. Just pay attention so you can kind of pick up on. He's going to step in and out with a forehand strike or a jab. Now, step in, into the pocket, fire, and back out. Now, from there, I want you to step to your right, 1, 2, back to your left, 3, 4, then back 5, 6, 7, 8. Stop. Then we repeat the same drill. In and out with the jab. In, back out. Now, this time you're going to go back the opposite direction. Step to your left, 1, 2, right, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. But if you step in and pop, step back and stop, I'm just going to step in and pop you. Or if you step in and pop, step back, I'm just going to pop you. Why? Because you're accommodating my reach. You don't want to stand there stationary. When you're on the outside, which is where you are positioned against a taller person, you got to be moving. So as soon as you fire, you keep moving. Don't fire, step back, pause, and then start moving the ladder. You fire back, 1, 2, 3, 4. 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 See how it works? Okay, but that's not going to come easy. That takes a couple years to kind of get that footwork down. Eventually where the coach could actually move around and work punching or kicking drills against you. Or if you're in a karate class, you got a shield here. He'll step in, fire like a lead leg side kick. I'll try to step in. You're going to step back, side, the same thing. So instead of working the forehand strike, the back knuckle or the jab like I'm showing you here, you could do it with a side kick. But for the sake of time, it's easier to teach somebody footwork drills using hands first, then go into the kicks. So let's try it just a little bit for me, Eddie. Don't worry about the camera, just face it. All right, step in with a jab. In, back, side, double over, okay? Step in jab, boom, side, double over. Step in jab, boom, back, side, double over. See, once in a while when he steps in jab, he's going side to side. I could be firing little hands at him to teach him to keep moving that laterally.